And ready to roll. Okay, this is the objection is going to be. By the way, I think we're going to. I feel like we're going to formalize this from now on. We're going to figure out a way to get objections that just kind of become like there's little cards we can use or some sort of a system around it, so you can like I don't know cycle through them and just it's sort of like I give you guys. So this is what Hatch does on their end is they give a there's like a card and then this person is this is who they have to be. This is a mother of three who is a single mother of three who has been renting for 3 years, really wants to get into a home. So there's the roles that are clearly defined, and then you need to act part of it. So we'll see if we can put something like that into place.
It's a good idea.
But
Yeah.
meanwhile, yeah, this is the objection that you don't want to work with a buyer's agent. All right, let's do it. Ring, ring. Good morning. This is Kevin. With Yoder Real Estate. Which home are you calling about today?
Hi, I'd like to set up a showing for a house you have listed on 28th Street in Kalamazoo or Plainfield.
Sure. Did you say
Yeah,
Kalamazoo?
down that way. It might be well.
Sure. Okay, hold on one second. Let me pull that up here. Got it. Okay, yeah, this address is actually 1196 28th Street in Plainwell.
Yeah.
And yes. By the way, this is Kevin again, and who am I speaking with?
My name's Nick.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm doing good, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, and as I mentioned, Nick, that the home is located in Plainwell, and I'm curious, is that the only area you're looking to buy in?
At Kalamazoo in general, but right now we're just pretty focused on this one. Yeah, just wondering if we were able to set up a showing. But yeah, I mean, we're basically looking at all Greater Kalamazoo.
Greater Kalamazoo. Okay, great. And what's important to you about that location, Nick?
Well, we got grandkids on there, and trying to get a little bit closer to the kids and grandkids. Moving from up north here, so.
Okay, great. So closer to grandkids, and what made you call on this one specifically then?
Looks like so we're looking for something that got like an open floor plan and at least a 3-stall garage, which this one has. So we're intrigued by it. There's not a lot of those around for sale right now, and
yeah,
we flipped through the pictures and liked what we saw.
Okay, great. So 3-stall garage, open floor plan. Does anything else stand out as far as what you're looking for? What are the top 3 things that you're looking for? And why I'm asking is so that I can put you in touch with other properties that might match this exact description. What I mean by that is a lot of times someone will call in on a property and we have another one that's coming down the line that's just like it or even better, and the client's like, wait a minute, I like that one better than this one. So if we can match you up for that with something like that, would that be a value to you?
Probably not. I look myself all the time.
Yeah.
I'm up on top of all that stuff. I don't necessarily.
When you say you're on top of that stuff, what do you mean?
Well, we're always, we check online all the time. So every day,
sure,
we have an alert set up on Zillow. So I mean, we see pretty much anything that's going to match what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're kind of in tune with everything. And what I mean by other properties that are coming down the line, I don't mean listed properties. I mean those that we have at Yoder Real Estate that aren't even on the market. We can talk about that later. Just remember the term off-market listings or Kevin's list, and we can dig into that a little bit later. Sound good?
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah. And by the way, Nick, you mentioned with this buying process. Is there someone else is there another decision maker in the process with you?
Yeah, my wife.
Great. What's your wife's name?
Susan.
Okay. Awesome. Nick, this one's priced at $250,000. Is that the price range that you and Susan are looking to buy in?
Yeah, that works for us.
Okay, great. What is your price range, by the way?
We're Pretty much looking up to 300,000.
Okay, great. So I mean, what I'm hearing from you, it's 250 to 300,000.
We'd go lower than 250, but
Yeah. Okay. When you sit down at your computer, Nick, when you type in search, what's your low end on that? What does that look like?
150 just to make sure that we're catching everything.
Oh wow.
Most
Okay.
of the stuff we're seeing at 150 is if it does meet our criteria, it's not really finished to the standard we'd like. But I just want to see them anyways. Want to take a look at them.
Sure. Okay. Great. And how did you establish your price range?
I work pretty closely with my lender, and he gave us a pre-approval already as well.
Oh, great. So you've been pre-approved. Yeah. Congratulations on being proactive. That's awesome. We don't see that very often where a buyer takes that first critical step up front. Congratulations on that. And Nick, as you mentioned, you're looking for a home in this Plainville area, and you found this. And how did you find this one then? How did you locate this property?
Came across our alerts on Zillow. Yeah.
On Zillow. Okay.
Through
Great.
the photos, took a look at it. Figured we'd set up a showing.
Yep. Awesome. And I'm curious, Nick, how long you been looking for a home?
We just got serious about it probably a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Okay. So just a couple months?
Yeah.
And how many homes have you seen the inside of them?
Probably five to 10-ish.
Okay. All right. 5 to 10 homes. And have you found any homes that you wanted to put an offer in on?
We found one. We kind of drug our feet a little bit, and they had an offer accepted before we were able to get an offer in on it, and that was our fault. Make sure that won't happen again, though.
Got it. So what happened there?
Yeah,
sold
we
before
said,
you had a chance to?
We looked at it. We had plenty of time to make an offer. It wasn't one of those situations with a deadline. It was kind of left open, and we thought we had a little bit more time to think about it and figure it out. We wanted to look at a couple more. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah. So how was that news delivered to you? Who told you that?
We saw it online. We just
saw it online. Okay.
One day that it went pending.
Oh, okay. Who'd you talk to there? Was it the listing agent that told you that?
No, it was just, like I said, just online. We hopped on Zillow to look at it one more time, and it said pending on it.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Was that sort of disappointing for you?
A little bit. I was more disappointed in ourselves than I mean, there's more houses out there. It's not a big deal, but we did like it though. We probably would have made an offer and we would have been happy there. We just thought we had more time to consider all options.
Right. Sure. Yeah, and that's one of the things when I asked you earlier on about mentioned the ability to give you some real estate that's not listed. That's one of the key things that buyers have found to be super helpful is being advised of and being aware of homes that aren't on the market yet, so they're not caught in that situation of losing out on their dream home. That's one of the things that we talk to you about. I'm curious, so you've looked at 5 to 10 homes, and you've been at it for about a couple months. And how are you looking for homes? By the way, you mentioned Zillow as one of the things. That's how you found this one. How else have you been looking at
homes? That's the only way I'm finding. And then once we do, we just either inquire right through Zillow and set up a showing to take a look at it, or we'll drive by it sometime first as well.
Okay, great. So Zillow, and then you'll drive by after that to take a look, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. And are you working with an agent by chance?
No. Don't plan on it.
Okay, don't plan on working with. Okay. When you say you don't plan on it, what do you mean by that?
I know that a lot of you guys had to do like a buyer's agent thing now. So we're
Mm.
just not interested in committing to one agent. I'll just work with whoever is able to send a house my way and get us in there and take a look at it. We'll just move forward with them house.
Yeah. Is this your first home, Nick?
Oh no.
Oh, you've owned before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Are you currently renting, or do you own now?
No, we are living with our kids right now, which is less than ideal for them, I'm sure.
What about you? Is it ideal for you, or?
We don't hate it. We're around the kids and grandkids, but they aren't real happy about it, I'm sure. They make us feel at home, but I know it's gonna be our place.
Yeah. Did you own a home before, or
Yeah.
what's the situation there?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. How long you been living with the kids then?
Couple months.
Couple months. Okay, great. Did you sell your home? Did you sell your home on your own, or did you work with an agent there?
Yeah, we sold for sale by owner. We sold up in Cadillac. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got it. And what's the reason for making a move? You see Cadillac, and now you're looking down in Plainwell. What's prompting your move? Not only selling your home, but relocating to a new area.
Just like I said, get closer to the family.
Okay, that's your primary objective. That's great. That's awesome. And you mentioned you have a pre-approval letter, right? Who's your pre-approval letter with, Nick?
That is with Chase Bank.
With Chase. Okay, great. That's awesome. And are you familiar with mortgage conditions, Nick, as far as what's going on with the market right now?
I don't know what you mean. Not really, I guess.
Yeah, may I explain?
Sure.
Yeah, well, as far as the market goes, there's a seller's market or there's a buyer's market, and now we're squarely in line with a seller's market. What that simply means is that there's fewer homes than there are buyers. So for every listing, there's likely 10 to 15 buyers for one home. And that means that when it offers, and you've already shared an example of that where a home will sell quickly. You've seen some of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a little more challenging when we're in this type of a market. Typically, there's going to be multiple offers for any given home, and mortgages are taking a little bit longer to get done, and sometimes they take up to 45 days. And back in the day, a few years ago, we can get a loan done in 20, 25 days. And there's a few things that we found. If you can imagine this, 15 buyers lined up at a front door. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine all of them writing offers on that house. And of those 15, only one buyer gets the house, gets to live there.
Right.
And I can tell you that the ones that lose out on it, even though they really, really, really want it, they tend to make rationalizations around how or why they lost it, and they kind of make it seem like it's all right, it wasn't meant to be. But at the end of the day, they really, really, really could have lived there and wanted to live there, and they lost out, so that this other person gets to live in that home that they would have otherwise been in. It's kind of weird that way, but the ones that actually win the bid, Nick, the one buyer that gets to live in that home for the next 10 to 15 years, and family. And by the way, do you have kids?
Yeah, they're grown though.
I know you have grandkids. Yeah, but no kids living at home right now. Okay. And so these buyers that win the bid, they have one thing in common. Or actually, they have three things in common. Would you like to know what those are?
Sure.
Now, they have a pre-approval letter, which, by the way, you have one. So this is sort of a nuanced part of that. A pre-approval letter with a lender that states in the letter, this is important, that they can close faster than the other offers, the buyers. And the reason why that's important is because the seller sees that letter, and the seller then will make a decision on which offer they accept, in part on which one can get them to the closing table faster, because they have plans of their own. And the other thing that's in common with these buyers is they've aligned themselves with an agent who has the ability to cut through the noise and to negotiate in the interest of the buyer and to influence that listing agent or that seller through the listing agent. That's how they get this job done. So if you knew that your ability to get into your dream home hinged on your ability to influence the seller to accept your offer over all others through that pre-approval letter and through this agent, would you want to give some consideration to that, Nick? To both of those.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Kevin. I would consider anything, I suppose. It's just we don't have any plans of working with a buyer's agent. We did that once before. It didn't work out very well for us. And like I said, I just feel like if I've got more feelers out there and more people working for me, then it's just gonna give me that much more opportunity.
Yeah, what you mentioned you worked with an agent before. What happened there?
This wasn't a good situation. The guy, he's a ding dong.
He's a ding dong?
Yeah. Didn't feel like we were very well represented, and there were some things that sounded good up front, and next thing they weren't really followed through on. So.
Okay, got it. When you say represented up front, what can you share some of those things? Tell me a little bit more about that. What was it that wasn't followed through on specifically?
We felt like we were getting lied to, and one thing that was big for us is we wanted to obviously look at some houses, and after we looked at 20 houses or so, and then we started thinking about buying land. We just never heard back from this guy, and we were under an agreement with him, and just I don't know. We felt screwed the whole time.
What was the word you used?
For what?
You said you felt what the whole time?
Screwed.
Oh, screwed. Okay. Is it because you mentioned the contract thing? So is it because you felt like he switched gears on his loyalty to you after your plan sort of changed to land, or was it the idea that you were under a contract? Which one of those two was? It was just
as we were working with him, he had a good presentation up front, and then after a while, it just seemed that he wasn't as competent as what we thought, and he wasn't as willing to work hard for us. So if I can avoid putting all my eggs in one basket and depending on one guy to give us all of his attention, I can just have the opportunity for one agent to send me properties, and if they drop the ball, I still have other agents that I've chatted with. If they're willing to help me, then awesome. But I just don't want to commit to one agent.
Sure. That makes sense. And so if you were able, Nick, to fire that agent, would you have done so?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I probably would have done the same thing. It's sort of it's frustrating when you rely on anybody to follow through with something that they don't. And if I'm hearing you right, it seems like you felt like you were lied to, and that his loyalty sort of waned after you considered looking at land rather than just homes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm curious too, Nick. If you were to think about it, and I know we don't have the answer, but just sort of logically speaking, is where might you think that agent aside? Because here's the truth about it is there's over 3,000 agents. Think about that, 3,000 agents in West Michigan, and you've experienced one. So do you think that there's a chance, remote possibility, that you might encounter another agent that doesn't have that same attitude or behavior or lack of fiduciary responsibility? Do you think there's someone else might just shine way above that agent, given that you've only talked to one out of 3,000?
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I know there's probably some good agents out there. It's just Well, the way I'm looking at it is why limit myself to just one agent when, you know, everybody's, I can have multiple helping me out, keep an eye on the market for me, and sending me anything that they might find.
Sure. Sure. It's a good question. It's a good question. I have an observation about that. May I share?
Sure.
Well, if you think about it, so what is it ultimately that you're looking for? What is it you really want?
A home.
Home, right? And you want it to be in this Plainwell area so you can get next to your grandkids. And you also mentioned you kind of missed out on this one. You're disappointed with yourselves for missing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you also have a price range in mind. And if we were to think about it, what do you think your best chances? What strategy do you think might serve you best? Is to ask 4 or 5, I don't know how many you're talking to, but 4 or 5 agents, let's pretend that's the number, and share with them the following. I had a bad experience. For that reason, I'm not going to commit myself to any of you. What I'm going to do rather is ask you to show me properties and give me some insight into how to win, but I'm not loyal to either of you. In fact, I'm disloyal to any of you. For that reason, I'm willing to work with you and you and you and you and give zero loyalty to anybody over another. In exchange for that, you can show me properties and give me what you can in the hopes that you can then, by spreading out your loyalty amongst 5, somehow get to the closing table and live in the dream home. Or the other question would be, find one agent that you know with confidence is fiduciary, which means they put your interests above the interests of all others, including your own. 2, has an agreement that allows you to walk away from the contract anytime if you're not happy, meaning you can fire them, but you're not going to. And third, the question would be, hey, I will commit myself to you if you commit yourself to me. And the agent in response would say, here's my duty to you. I will work tirelessly, knowing that if you buy a home, you're going to buy it through me. For that reason, I will work while you are sleeping. For that reason, I will hunt down the right property, those that are on the market, those that are off the market. I don't care what you look at or when you buy. Frankly, I don't even care if you do buy, because at the end of the day, it sounds like you're probably going to buy a home, whether it's this year or next year, and I'm in it for the long haul. While you sleep, I work. And because we have a reciprocal relationship, I'm going to work tirelessly for you because there's that loyalty there. Which of those 2 strategies do you think might actually serve you the best?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose someone just working for us the whole time would be great. I like it, being able to just get rid of someone if they're not cutting it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm just not really, this isn't something I wanted to do. I felt like we had a pretty good handle on it. We've seen, all the houses that have popped up on the market.
And do you feel like that process has served you well?
Yeah, I feel like it's served us pretty well thus far. We just haven't been able to make it happen yet.
When do you see yourself in your next home? What's your ideal timeline?
I'd say as soon as we find one.
Yeah, because you think about living in your home and getting out of your kids, getting out of their house. Do you see that happening when the leaves are oranges brown, when the leaves are gone and there's snow on the ground and it's Christmas time, or do you see that happening in the spring?
I would say probably before winter, but if snow on the ground is not going to bother us too much. We're not moving it. We'll be hiring that out. So
Sure. But ideally, you'd rather have it happen before winter if you could.
Yeah, because hopefully I'm not looking for that much longer.
Sure. I know you mentioned that the idea of working with an agent wasn't something you really thought about doing, and at the same time, I think it seems like you're beginning to see the value in having one person that is committed to getting you what you want, rather than scattering it amongst 5 who are uncommitted to you because frankly they have no reason to be committed to you. You think they're going to work while you're sleeping if you've told them frankly you're not going to work for them?
And
You're not going to be with
honestly,
them?
I wouldn't blame them. I don't need them to be committed to me. It was just some folks are interested in setting us up on their website and stuff and sending us properties, which is fine if they want to do that, and if not, that's fine too. Usually, I'm just calling on the one house that they have that they're representing or that they're listing or whatever the situation is. I don't know if you're the one selling this house or if you are a buyer's agent for Yoder Real Estate, but regardless.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm a buyer specialist. I work only with buyers, and it's interesting listening closely to the words you're choosing to share your experience with, and I can appreciate that entirely. And it sounds like basically the setup is agents have access to the same listings that you have access to. You know that, right? You don't.
Yeah.
You can set up a saved search on Zillow, right? Send you new listings in the market. Okay, so yeah, so you don't need me for that, and frankly, you don't need any agent to help you find the real estate. So I can, based on that premise or that label of the agent, which is someone's going to help you find homes that are listed on the market, I can see where there's a huge disconnect of value. You're not placing any value to that at all. And for that reason, I even started off this conversation over the years through technology. The value that I would bring to the equation, Nick, isn't with showing you homes that you can find in Zillow. It's with giving you access to listings that are not on the market. And so if I could find you and hand deliver that home to you in that Plainwell area that no one else knows about except for you and Susan, and get you in there in a timeline that works for you, and the price is right, and it has the 3-stall garage and the open floor plan, and I found it for you. And you look on Zillow, it's been there. Wow, where did this come from? It's from an off-market source that we have access to through our collaboration with sellers across West Michigan who have said to us, yeah, we would sell, we just don't want it to be on the open market. So that's sort of an exchange where we're giving you something of value. And as I mentioned to you before, Nick, we don't really work off of contracts. If someone's not happy with us, they can fire us anytime. Does that sound like something you might want to take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the idea of being able to move on, and kick each other.
Yeah, of course.
Necessary.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would want to do the same thing. But here's what I've done for others in your situation. We just set up a meeting, come to the office, we'll go over a game plan and how we help our buyers win in this market. We have 3 distinct strategies that we help our buyers win with that other buyers don't know about because their agents don't know about it. And then also share with you some off-market listings that might match your exact criteria. By the way, the agent you worked with before, did he share with you the 3 distinct strategies for winning in this market?
I'm not sure what they are. I don't know if he did or not. Most likely not.
Yeah, you'd know. Oh, you'd know. I mean, it's very clear once we outline them for you, you'll say, "Oh, I get it now. I can see how perhaps this other strategy wasn't going to work for me." We'll go through those 3 strategies. I'll share some off-market listings with you, how to win in this market, and if it makes sense, we'll decide to work together. If it doesn't make sense, by the way, Nick, I'm going to let you know this too, that we're not going to work together. If it doesn't make sense, we're not working together. Okay? It has to make sense. In other words, it has to be a win-win. It has to feel right. It has to be right. And if it's not, then we just won't do it. We'll just kind of walk away with a handshake, but you're also going to come away from it with some information that those 3 strategies alone is enough to arm you with all you need to know about in order to win and get into the house for you and Susan. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, great. What works better for you and Susan, afternoons or evenings?
Pretty open. Probably get it done sooner rather than later, so afternoons will be fine.
Okay, great. I've got Thursday at 5 or Friday at 6.
Yeah, Thursday at 5 is fine.
Okay, great. Thursday at 5. And does that work for Susan as well, Nick?
Yeah, she'll be there.
Okay, great, Nick. And what I'll do is when we hang up the phone, I'll text you my number, just save it in your phone, Real Estate Kevin. And that way you'll be able to get a hold of me with any questions you have, and I'll be your go-to agent. Sound good?
Okay.
Great. And then, Nick, when you pull up to the office, when you come to the office, actually, don't forget your pre-approval letter. And I mentioned it earlier about this pre-approval letter and being able to influence the buyer. At some point, we might want to talk about a second opinion. Most buyers do get a second opinion. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And but bring your pre-approval letter with you. I'm having a hard time saying that word. Pre-approval letter. Bring it with you, and that way I can look over it. Okay.
Yeah, that works. Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, when you pull up to the office, Nick, look for a sign out front. It's going to have yours and Susan's name on it. This is our way of rolling out the red carpet for you and letting you know how we go to work for our buyers, and show you a sense of what world class looks like, Nick, and that way it sets the stage for a successful relationship. Sound good? Okay, great, Nick. I look forward to seeing you and Susan Thursday at 5. And hey, by the way, is there any chance you think you're not going to be able to make it?
I don't think so. Nothing that I know of.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to move some. I've got someone. I had someone at 5. I'm going to move them around a little bit and make sure that I can accommodate you and Susan, and that way we're able to meet and not lose this opportunity for this particular property, and also share this information with you. So if for some reason you're not able to make it, can you make me a promise?
What's that?
Just let me know. Give me a call.
Yeah, I can do that. Be able to get in this property after the meeting or before the meeting?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'll call the agent, okay, and we'll schedule it. And so it's really going to be an effective meeting. We're going to go over the 3 strategies. We're going to go over the off-market list. So 3 strategies on how to win an offer. Go over the off-market list and see if there's anything on it that matches your criteria. And then we'll go out and take a look at that property. Sound good?
Sure.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you and Susan on Thursday at 5, Nick. And have a great night.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Tough cookie, Nick. Wow.
You pulled out some golden nuggets, though.
What's that?
You pulled out some golden nuggets.
Oh, man, you were relentless, though. God.
That was good.
I'm like, God, this guy, not.
No, I felt like I felt like I wasn't real strong on it. Honestly, I've had those calls before.
Yeah. I feel like you weren't that strong. You were just consistent.
I was waiting for the right combination for me to be like, all right.
You know, the way I think I would describe this call is our conversation around the dip, meaning that long slog in there. And frankly, I kind of I felt like almost giving up. Like, I'm like, this is just too hard. You know, like I don't want to go on. Like, that's how I felt. So you see that, where then you lean into the dip and you keep going, because at some point, if you can have him realize something that he hasn't yet realized on his own, that's the key to this whole thing. So with that, who has some observations they'd like to share about this call?
I do. And then based off,
is it you, Nick, or okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Said, you just got to remember that you're ultimately helping them. Like, you just can't forget that. And I think that's the biggest thing. They might seem like they want you off the phone, but you have to remember you're bringing them a service. And you're
right.
For them ultimately.
Yeah.
A couple more takeaways. And I kind of did a glows grows thing. Glows, what are your top 3 things? You dug it deep on that. And then you really just went 3 deep on all of his issues with the past agents, and really just hit his pain points. You hit his pain points on living with his children, and if he's having a problem with her, if it's his family. And then you constantly repeated what he said, and you made it sure that he knew that you were listening to him. So
right.
Those are my big takeaways.
All right. Good.
You have
Ricky or Nick, anybody?
I've got an observation / question. It's hard for me to pay real close attention and like subtleties when I'm in the call, but it seemed at the end there you were going into a lot of detail on agency and actually committing to you and stuff. I was thinking that some of that should have been avoided potentially and just gone for the close on the meeting first, where then you would go over a lot of those details.
Yeah, I agree. And in fact, you and I have had a very specific conversation about this, getting in so granular over the phone. And I think the only reason why I went into that, I waded into that pool more than I normally would have, or more than I normally would recommend, is that A, you've sold a home before. This is not your first home, so you've probably gone through it before. B, you had an agent already, so you kind of already get the deal. Like, it's not like I'm introducing a new concept to you. And C, the premise of the meeting was really, I mean, like, in order to get you to come in, I didn't want it to be something that we suddenly sprung upon you at the meeting. So I wanted to at least get some of that in there. And I wasn't getting you to commit to it. I think I brought it up so that I could tell you that if it doesn't work, if it makes sense, we're not going to work together. I think I intentionally, as I was going through it, like innately, I felt like I needed to at least give you that and then take it away. It's almost like a takeaway.
I don't remember exactly what the phrase was. At some point you said, you brought up what you just talked about there. If you wanted to cancel, it's easy to walk away. We won't work on a contract or something like that. I felt like you may have said something very similar to that, like a little bit earlier. And I thought that was a great opportunity for you then to transition into setting up the meeting. We'll go over that in more detail, blah, blah, blah. And then you started, I don't know if, gosh, I wish it's recorded. We could look at it. But, I just felt like there was a good opportunity earlier for you to transition into the, set the meeting portion. And
right.
Because it was you had just gone over some of the benefits. You made it kind of vague enough for me to be interested about it. But regardless, the main focus is, you sold me on, the no obligation. You let me know that, you're going to be working for me. And, I just had a bad A with my last agent, so.
Yeah, you guys, that's I found some success in this. So so something similar to this would be the expired listings, where I talk to somebody, I call the seller, and they say, I'm not working with another agent, or I'm going to go for sale by owner agent. I had a bad experience, or I'm going to wait till next year, even though they really would sell right now, given the fact that they just came off the market. And when you just share, hey, you had one agent, there's 3,000. Is there a chance, do you think, that there might be another agent in the remaining 2,999 that actually could have served you at a high level? And they'll go, well, yeah, of course. Well, okay. Well, is it possible that I could be that option for you? Like, they have to realize that with for the category of real estate, that there's bad and there's medium and there's great. And in the category of lodging, there's Red Roof, and there's the choice motels, and then there's the Ritz-Carlton. So that's the deal here. Like, every single category has that. Nick, there's the Arby's, and there's the Applebee's, and then there's Ruth's Chris. You happen to like the first two better than the last, but I know
one is below Ruth's Chris and one's above Ruth's Chris, but I like them both. So.
Oh man, I love that dialogue with you. It's my favorite. Do you guys understand?
Yeah. Applebee's.
Just self-reveal. It's just revealing. They didn't think that part through. They just said, I had a bad agent, therefore I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's a good analogy that you use to describe what they've just done there, right?
It's morbid.
When you think about dirty babies that are only halfway bathed, because their parents threw them out. That's really gross. Yeah. All right.
So
this is recorded. This is for training purposes. Ricky, I want to know, did this help you? What was one takeaway, Ricky?
Yes, I'm happy you asked. What I really appreciate about this is because it's hard to just like say these things on command. So when you're actually put in a situation where you have to dig in and figure out what to say, that's when we really start to learn the golden nuggets, which is really great. The one thing that I really liked is how you explained, I'll just keep it nice and short, that Nick was expecting all of this without providing any loyalty to anyone. So that was pretty powerful one right there. And majority of these calls, when I run into these, it's because I'm clicking through the leads in FirePoint and I'll see the notes. Doesn't want to work with buyer's agent, and then I just get a little bit excited.
Right.
It's like a little challenge. Well,
yeah,
that's excited to call them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for the challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so then being armed with these tools is important. I think that's that one right there you just brought up is, man, that's the thing right there.
That loyalty piece, by the way, I don't think resonated with me in this call. I think.
I think. Listen. There's a possibility, Nick. This could have been explained in a different way. So the concept is that, now, if you think about it, and maybe I didn't quite execute it at the level I could have, but if you said the idea is that if you say to 5 agents, I'm just going to give a little piece of me, and then you got to pour back into me everything that you have. Like, there's nothing like, I could have gone, I almost said this, and I just felt like we were going real long with it. I almost said, hey, look, agents talk amongst each other, right? You'd be like, yeah, I guess so. Well, when we sit around and talk about our buyers that we're working with, when we talk about the ones that are like, hey, send me properties, I'm not going to be connected to you at all. Like, I want nothing to do with you, but I want you to send me listings. Like, who do you think that we're really going to work 80 hours a week for? Do you think it's the ones that are committed to us, the ones that just say, hey, I want nothing to do with you? Like, that's the essence of it. Like, it's a reciprocity. So you can say, hey, are you familiar with the law of reciprocity? They'll be like, yes or no, right? Let's just say they say no. Well, law of reciprocity simply is that when one person does a nice gesture for the other, that it's innate in us to reciprocate that. And in real estate, it's a buyer says, hey, I'm willing to work exclusively with you. I don't have to buy a home, but when I do, it's going to be through you. So for that reason, the fiduciary agent is going to reciprocate in the form of digging deep, fiduciary, like all the things that one would do that is a great agent. And I'm not suggesting you had a great agent, and clearly you had a problem with that, but that's not everybody will do that. But then when you find the great ones, Nick, those that are just above world class, first in class, then you'll find that's what happens.
So my thing is with this particular type of buyer, they aren't asking us or you to anything more than open this door. They don't even, most of the time, they'll say yes to sending you properties or whatever, but they don't want it. They're just like, yeah, that's fine. Sure, you can send me over if you have anything. It's not like they're saying, hey, I'm not going to give you anything, but I want you to give me your own. They're just like, look, I don't care what you give me. I just want you to open this door. Frankly, they might not come out and say that, but that's what I typically get from them.
Sure. Yeah, and there'll be that variety. So let's just clump them in that 10% of somebody that just is not going to find the value and work with an agent, and then you make a business decision right there, right then and there, on whether or not you're going to work with this person or not. And I would say you probably wouldn't want to, because it's going to translate down the road into other things that feel a lot like they don't value you.
Yeah, that could happen.
So it's deciding, is this just a misunderstanding? Do they have the wrong information? Do they have a viewpoint that's not serving them because someone shared some information with them, whether it be a friend or family, mother, father, or somebody, that real estate agents are all slimy and they don't work for them? That there's a bias, and I don't remember the label of the particular bias, but it's an actual bias, which is, if I say, for example, Ricky, you don't know Nick, right? You've never met him before, but we're going to go out to dinner together tonight. And I say, hey, by the way, Nick's kind of a slime ball. It's kind of a like he's kind of a he's kind of like just you better watch out. He's a little bit shady.
Gossip.
Okay?
You have this
That's it.
preconceived idea.
Or what?
And
And then we go to
that.
dinner, and unfairly, you're judging him before we even get there. Like you're looking at him through this lens of slimeball cheating, and then the only way to overcome that is to spend a lot of time with him to break the bias. So that's what I'm talking about with that. Is that people come to the equation with a bias about real estate agents because someone told them that, hey, you know what, they're like car salesmen, and so that's the psychology behind it. So it's our job to unroot that and figure out what is actually driving that behavior. And that's, to me, that's kind of exciting. Like I kind of love the idea that we can figure out what's driving that. So that becomes then the quest. And in that way, it takes this to a whole new level. That's not level 1 or 2. That's level 3. That's the psychology behind what's driving the buyer's actions and words. And can we overcome that? That's pretty awesome,
And there it is.
And there it is. Boom. All right, y'all. This one's going to be recorded.
Sweet.
I will share it.
Sweet.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome day.
Thank you. Peace.